What up, guys? Welcome to episode 81 of Fresh Off the Mats, here with the Jiu-Jitsu Joes. Are you going to clap every time that I don't scream?
You don't scream?
What up, guys? Welcome to episode 81 of Fresh Off the Mats with the Jiu-Jitsu Joes. Here on
Joe's going to be famous, guys.
a moody Wednesday.
He's going to be famous.
Is it Wednesday?
Just don't let him ignore it. He's going to be famous.
I'm not going to be
He's starting to stream. He has people wanting his signature. Joe's famous. He has 20,000 followers on Instagram. Go add to that number.
I just hit a rhythm, dude. It's
Go
not
add
anything.
to that.
And plus,
Follow him some more.
first of all, the person who wants my signature on the card that they bought, the slab, they've been following my YouTube channel since the very beginning, and they're just a fan. They just like my videos. Second of all, I'm just starting the streaming thing today. I'll be lucky if I get 5 people to watch this stream. And
5 is a lot.
yeah, I'll be lucky. Well, so Whatnot tells you how many people save the stream to get notified when it's about to go live.
Oh, you have at least that?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
so like you could set like that poster I set it on my Whatnot, and it's scheduled for 3:15, and it notifies them like, hey, this stream's gonna start in a half hour. This stream's gonna start in 10 minutes. So it tells you how many people save the stream to like want to watch it.
What are you streaming?
So I'm gonna be selling off like my excess of Magic cards. So like I purposely took stuff that I had like numerous copies of. I submitted them for grading. They all came back graded. So what I'm doing on Whatnot is I'm just gonna be like auctioning off like shit. Like I'll set a price.
Like
and,
a live auction?
Yeah, you stream and
shit.
like you have people bid for shit, and like it's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm lucky if I
dope.
get up to 5 people to watch it. I'm lucky if I'll sell 1 or 2 items.
Those guys are lucky that there's only 5 because it's less people to bid. If like all 5 jump in, like that's even better for them.
Yeah.
Especially if people start getting it in the beginning.
Yeah. And especially like if it becomes more popular, like, oh, you should follow this guy because he's gonna
do an auction.
He's gonna do an auction, he's gonna bid at low prices and stuff like that. So you're
gonna do it like what? Like once a month, once a week? Like what's your goal?
No, my plan was to do it twice a week.
Twice?
For like 45 minutes to an hour.
I don't know. Why not try it like once a month? Because then it'll
they
build
incentivize you, especially when you first, because you have to go through a training course with them, a 45-minute to an hour-long training course with Whatnot.
What is that?
Whatnot is basically if eBay and Twitch had a baby. So
it's meant for selling then.
Yeah, it's meant for selling like so eBay, but it's like if eBay you could stream like, hey guys, buy this thing, and like you basically make a streaming show out of selling your shit.
That's pretty cool.
But you have to go through a training course for it, and then once you get trained, they activate your account to be a seller. Once you become a seller, the first week, if you stream like a minimum of 2 hours, they'll match whatever you sold in that first week of streaming.
That's
so
sick.
From now until next week. Let's say I sell $300 worth of stuff, they'll match
so
that.
It does incentivize you to kind of like jump on there more too.
Yeah, because their goal is to have people streaming all the time. They want to be like a social media where people are constantly using it, not just once a month that you're using it. So like they give you a QR code and they have a link. So like anybody who uses my link gets $15 off their order. So if somebody bought a $100 card from me, they automatically get $15
so they're really
off.
spending $85.
Yeah, just to incentivize the people to sign up and shit. It's cool. I think it's fun. I think it's going to be something different for me to do because pack opening is fun on YouTube and I enjoy making those videos. But now I'm getting stuck with so much product where it's like, dude,
you need to get rid of the excess.
I need to get rid of it. And like my plan is like if you buy like a high value card, I'm going to throw in a couple of dollar things just to filter through some of this shit because there's too much product, dude. Like at the house I have bins and I just want to get through it all. I want to start to keep like a minimum of what I have. I think I went a little too crazy for a few years.
If someone wants to get into like this, I guess either card stuff or anything like
trading
that,
cards?
like what would you say to start after being in it for a few years? Like how would you get started and what would you do?
I think it's all dependent on what you're trying to get into trading cards for. Like, are you getting into sports cards where there's not a game attached to it and you just want to you just want to collect like Michael Jordan rookie cards? Like it depends. If you're trying to get into a trading card game like Magic or Pokemon where there's a game behind it, that's what enticed me about collecting Magic as opposed to collecting like just basketball rookie cards.
There's something behind
There's a game behind it. I could utilize the card. I'm not paying money for a piece of cardboard that I can't use anything other than to look at it.
Yeah.
So I could use it. If you want to get into that kind of stuff, I say like don't go out and just buy shit off the bat. Look into it. Like you could go and watch people play Magic. You could go and watch people play Pokemon, play Yu-Gi-Oh! And see what you like or don't like about the gameplay of it and then stick to that one. Like Pokemon, I don't play Pokemon. I just
So
collect
you
it
don't- okay.
just because I like the art and
Yeah.
it's nostalgic. But I don't play it. Magic, I play. I collect it. I enjoy the art. I play it. It's something that like if I lose my ass on a pack, like I don't make my money back, I'm not bummed about it. 'Cause I still enjoy it.
You'll still be able
There's
to play
still
the game.
utilization
Okay.
behind it. So I think that just depends. But there's nothing wrong. Like on Whatnot, there are people selling like Michael Jordan rookie cards and shit
How
like
much
that.
does
People,
that go for?
bro, some of those cards, those rookie cards, sports cards,
Yeah.
fuck, dude. Like they were talking about a guy I didn't even know. He was an NBA rookie for like I think the Hornets or something. One of those like not even like well-known teams, like one of those
Yeah.
side mission teams. And bro, they're like, oh, his Prism rookie card is a 1/1. It's a $3,000 card. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, sports cards is a whole different animal. But again, I don't get sports cards and what keeps the value up. It's literally just the popularity because there's no
And you also,
utilization
and
behind it.
especially since that guy's like probably not. I mean, he might be well known. I don't know. I don't follow sports.
I don't
like
follow
that.
basketball to
Yeah,
know.
I don't follow
who it
sports like
was.
that. I really don't keep up with people that much. But like, yeah, I feel like the only way it would be valuable is if they are like a star player, because then
Yeah,
everyone knows their
Like
name.
a Tom Brady rookie
Yeah, like
card.
I don't follow sports, but I'll know Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't follow sports, but you'll know Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like you'll know certain people because their name.
is so massive.
Yeah, and so like that's where I can see the value. Everyone else, I'd be like,
But
why would I pay for that?
Here's my thing with sports cards. I don't get it because I understand to understand it as a collectible piece of artwork, but then it's only propped up by the proposition like that this guy is famous and well known.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they only care that it's a Michael Jordan rookie card because it's Michael Jordan. But let's say, knock on wood, Michael Jordan goes on a killing spree tomorrow and people hate his
It
guts.
devalues everything.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing propping it up from the back. Magic and Pokemon and trading card games, I understand, because even if this card is like not valuable, you could still play with it. Like
Yeah.
there's still utilization behind it. I don't know. Like you could enjoy a game.
Even
You
if
could
they're
still
older
use it.
cards, because I know like for Yu-Gi-Oh, my cousin got into selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards for a bit. And-
Yu-Gi-Oh is massive. I had no
Yeah.
idea. I follow, even though I'm not into Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, I follow some of the popular streamers that like do box breaks just to give me ideas of like, oh, I like how he does this for his box breaks. I like how he opens packs like this. And dude, some of those Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like they'll be like $3,000, $2,000.
That's what, he was doing real well with it. I mean, it blew me away because he even had some cards that he kept in cases. I wish I did the same thing, but like
I wish I did
he
too.
kept some cards and bro, like things that we grew up with. He was just like, bro, I just got offered $1,000 for this card. And I was like,
Yeah.
and bro, one card, I forget which one it was. I had 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I had 3 of them, bitches, but cards are all destroyed. They're
'Cause
old
they
as shit. And I
told
was
us-
like, damn,
Bro,
dude.
and believe it or not, even if it's like in condition, you could probably still sell it for like $100, $200.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people like that Charizard that I purchased off Zach that
Uh-huh.
time. Dude, even in heavy, because they tell you like the condition, even in heavy played condition, like almost the level below above damage, even in heavy play condition, still $150 card.
What?
Yeah,
Holy
it doesn't matter that it's like
It's
super
just because it's also because of the
so
card.
rare.
Yeah.
You can't even find them, even if they're like banged
'Cause
up.
I know, like you told me, I think you said limited edition is like what to look for on Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? There was like a specific.
There
thing
was
you said to
limited
look
and
for.
first edition. So
I think, you
yeah,
said first edition was the more
because
expensive one.
first edition
Bro,
more
I have a
expensive
whole, like,
because
I
they come with a
remember-
gold stamp in the
Yep.
corner instead of a silver stamp.
And I went through all my cards that I still had just sitting in my apartment. Like it was like the old cards that I grew up. I still have a bunch over at my mom's house, but like those specific cards, it was like the deck that I actually played, and I made like basically like 80 cards worth of first editions, and I was just sitting there. I was like,
you should
if I
scan
took
them
care
in.
of those, bro.
But you should scan them in because if you're not planning to get into it again, why
Yeah.
wouldn't you just sell them off?
I
It's
don't know.
like free
It's got, every
cash
time I
in
see it, it's kind of like also a nostalgia thing. Like that was the deck
Which
I
is
played
fine.
with, is why I look at it, and I'm like, and it doesn't do it. It literally sits in my closet in the top corner, just sits there.
Yeah.
But it's like that nostalgia. I was like, yeah, that was a game I played when I was a kid. I have
Yeah.
those. Probably I can go over to my mom's house and go look into all those cards and
Bro,
weave
it's-
through that
it-
and maybe find something. Maybe even if I make like $100 or so off of it.
You know what it is, man? When we were growing up, trading cards, it wasn't until the 90s that trading cards like
and it was always
became
talking about
fun.
sports. Sports cards was also like the big
Originally,
like,
it
the
was
thing to
sports
save for.
cards. It wasn't until like trading card games like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic. Those weren't until the 90s. Sports
Mhm.
cards were around forever. But the big collapse of sports cards back in the day is they just printed millions of them.
Yeah.
Like you'd get a Babe Ruth rookie card, but they printed 5 million of them. So everybody had it. It was not they've adjusted now with trading cards and sports cards where they're like, hey, we're only going to print like 2,000 of these. Like, we're not going to devalue our own product in that way because the internet, now everybody knows, there's only 2,000.
Which is also the huge help for it too, the internet. Because before it was also just, they would print 5 million because like you scatter that across the whole entire USA. It's like, every neighborhood, maybe you'll have like 5 or 10 in the neighborhood or something like that. It wouldn't be anything crazy.
But our parents fucked up. It all roots back to our parents and grandparents because they told us back in the day when we were buying Pokemon cards and stuff like that, oh, these things aren't worth anything. I remember my dad telling me to this day, oh, these Pokemon cards will never be worth anything. This is just a waste of my money to buy you these Pokemon cards. Bro, every time I see like a Charizard sold for whatever, I just want a screenshot and send it to him. I was about to say,
do you? I would.
I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to be like, remember when you said this card would never be worth anything? Now it's like a $500,000 card.
My mom would hit me. If I did that to my mom, she would hit me with like, well, why didn't you listen? So you know how I ended up joining the Marine Corps? So out of high school, I wanted to join the military right away. I was actually going to go to the Army first. My mom, well, first it was going to be the Marine Corps. When they called, she goes, he's asthmatic, he's flat-footed. Basically gave the recruiter like all the things that they can't recruit me for.
Why?
Because she didn't want me to go. She wanted me to go to college first. That was her thing. She was scared that if I ever went to the military, I would never go to college, right? So she wanted me to go to college first. So she talks to this recruiter, and I even tried to sneak by again because I got the Army recruiter, and I told her the whole story, or told him the whole story. He comes over, he goes, let me try to have dinner with her. Maybe I'll be able to convince her. I'm good at this, is what I do. I deal with parents. I was like, all right, bet. He comes over for dinner. He's actually killing it, bro. She starts signing this contract going, but it's an infantry contract.
Wait,
that's
your
all
parents have to sign off on it?
When you're 17. So when you're 17,
really?
when you're 17, you have to get legal authorization from your parents to sign.
Isn't that crazy? At 16, you could go get a license of a 2,000-pound vehicle to run people over, but you can't go like...
Well, technically, no, you need parents. Because you get the permit and all that. So you still need to be under supervision. But either way, guy's like winning it over, dude. He's doing it. But I wanted to go infantry. That's all I wanted. And my mom was like, she wasn't for me for the military, but she 100% didn't want me joining the infantry. She did not want me doing any of that risk. Yeah. Didn't care. I wanted infantry. That's what I was going for. So the Army guy's doing it. She's going through. She's signing. And then I don't know what happened, but she signed one piece of paper, flipped it over, and then something like caught her eye. And then she flipped back. So maybe she like registered something, maybe said infantry. And she goes, why does I say infantry? And so him and I already were under the impression. I was like, tell her it doesn't matter. Like, just trying to skip past it. I want to go, right? And he was just like, oh, well, it's because, when the Marines say everyone's a rifleman, it's kind of the same thing. Like, all Army guys, soldiers, we make sure that they know how to fight. And she goes, she reads again something else. She reads a description. And she goes, Joseph, you're going to the infantry? And I was just like, I was playing, Ma. And she was just like, okay, sets it down, rips the contract right there. She goes, you can finish your pasta dish if you want, but I'm done here, and you leave right after. Just like that. And he goes, sorry, man. He's like, I try to do what I could. So I ended up going to tech school and all that.
These guys will go to your house and have dinner?
Yeah, they can.
What the fuck?
Bro, they want their numbers, dude. But anyway, fast forward, I go through, I get certified as a trainer. I do my whole thing. Then I end up going to tech school, right? After I went to community college for a bit. All that, still after about 8 or 9 months of actively training, I still wanted to join the Marine Corps, end up signing up. I get out, talk to my mom about this whole thing, and she goes, well, when you were 18, you could have just snuck behind my back, right? Bro, you see the silence here, bro? My blood boiled, bro.
Try for the best, though.
Yeah, I learned a lot. It was great to also go in later. There's a lot of benefits joining later. But remember, I also went to school, though. I went to it, and that's her take on it. But the issue is, I had to pay for school, so I went $30,000 into debt when I could have just gone and then had it all paid for.
Yeah, but you would have went into infantry, like you would have done.
I still did. Technically, so I went security forces, then into the infantry. But
later, I think that time for you to season in your decision and like think about more, you made a better choice.
Which is, and that's also, and it is funny.
I feel like it's predatory. Like I support the armed forces. I have nothing against them, but I feel like it's partially
on
predatory.
17-year-olds, dude.
And I think they purposely do it in like bad neighborhoods where they're like, oh, this kid realizes like college is out of the question for him, and they're like, oh, it's a poor neighborhood. Hey, you could just join the Army and you could be part of this. And like they only tell you the good things. They don't tell you all the crazy.
I mean, we
shit.
say it in the military all the time. We're the biggest gang out there. Everyone talks about the cops being the biggest gang. I was like, the military is. So I was like,
because they go into these areas. They're not. Trust me, they're not going to hoity-toity rich neighborhoods and being like, "Hey, you guys in Naples, like, come join the army."
It'll be very rare
because they'll give their parents will be like, "No, dude, like you're not fucking doing that. You're going to college."
In our high school, we had a whole poster, and it was to show all the seniors that were going to different branches of the military. And it was like their picture would be there, and it would show all the Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, Navy, or Coast Guard, and it would put all their pictures there. So it was also like a big thing, like celebrated, like, oh yeah, you signed to be able to go and all that.
Yeah, but dude, here's the thing: like, you don't allow these people the opportunity to drink and have a good time. You don't allow these people the opportunity.
Bro, they can't even smoke now.
To like buy a house. Like, you don't allow these people to be adults, but you want them to go do the most extreme version of what an adult thing is, and that's kill another human.
What life is. And so that's also a big thing.
That's what bothers me is, like, if you're gonna say, hey, at 18 we're allowed to do this to these kids, you got to let everything go at that point, because you're giving them, you saying we're gonna allow you to put a gun in your hand and shoot another human being, which is the most extreme adult thing you could do in life. And you tell me he can't apply to get a house,
and they base it off
drink a beer.
Bro, they can't rent a car.
Yeah, they can't rent a car because what is it, 25?
Actually,
hotel, I think it's 25 too.
We can. So military gets the benefit. So actually, I went to go rent a car, but because I had military ID.
But prior to being in the military, you cannot.
No, they wouldn't.
So I find it very predatory in those aspects. Like, bro, you got to let these guys' brains develop. Let them be 25, then have them come.
And the issue is, and I know why they
or not allow them to be infantry. From 18 to 25, they're just in training mode.
That has been brought up even when I was in. Yeah. That's been brought up a lot because most special forces guys are older, right? So like you're not getting a 17-year-old to be part of the special forces. It's it's rare that they're going to make it, right? Like, it's not just the training, it's just physically and mentally they're just not going to most likely cut it, dude. Like, most of the time they're averaging, I think the average age of special forces guys like 23 to 24. Like, they're a little older. They're not much older, but they're older than.
There's a big difference between 23 and 17.
And 17, bro. There's a huge difference.
Dude, there's a huge difference between Joe at 17, Joe at 23, and Joe at 30.
Yeah,
there's a
huge,
massive difference.
World of
those three people are completely different.
All like that, bro. 30-year-old me would look at 17-year-old me and be like, "You're an idiot."
You're an idiot,
like, dude. But that has been brought up a lot because it comes down to decision making, smarter choices, right? Communication, because as a kid, like, communication isn't a big thing for a lot of teenagers to have.
Not just that,
but they're used to listening. Yeah. And so things like in the special forces, bro, it's no longer like I'm in charge, you all follow. It's usually a very big team thing. So that's why the teams are smaller and the squads are smaller.
Think about if me and you at 17 did a podcast, we would talk about the stupidest shit.
Yeah. I mean, we still do,
but we're able to articulate it way better.
Exactly.
Joe at 17 wouldn't know how to use the word articulate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's things you learn along the way that help you later on in life.
So I definitely do agree. I wouldn't say 25. I would think probably 21. Like you said, if the age for drinking, smoking, and doing all these different things is 21, well, then you need to boost that up too.
I feel like you give them the option. Like, you say, hey, we recruit you at 17, 18. You're not allowed to fully be in till 21. And we give you the option at 21 whether or not to, like.
So there are things like that. I mean, you could do OCS where you agree you're going to go to school first and the military will pay for your schooling. You obviously have to pass or you have to pay everything back. But if you pass and you get your 4-year degree, then you're obligated to do 4 years of service. Because they paid your way, which I think is a lot better too. Because now you get an education. But the issue is usually at that point you have to be an officer. So we need enlisted. And enlisted usually aren't people with degrees, right? Like, I got a tech degree. Very rarely you're going to get the guy with a bachelor's that decided to go enlisted because he could have gone officer, better pay, better lifestyle, all of that, versus being in the dirt of everything with the enlisted. So it's like, it's kind of, and that's why I think it's also harder, because it's like now you have to go tell this 21-year-old, all right, like, you've lived life a bit, whether you went through college or not, you worked, because that was the hard part for me adjusting to the military. It's like, dude, I pay my bills, I handle all my stuff. And now, like, when my first week in, bro, I'm sitting there, not even in boot camp, I'm talking about my unit. I have this, I think he was 19 at the time. Yeah, he was 19, right? Bro, telling me I have to go. Now, I also don't have an ego because, again, I'm older, so I understand, like, the way things work, and I know I'll pick up faster. Yeah, so I understood it, and I wasn't going to have an attitude about it, but I have this 19-year-old finding it hilarious to be able to tell a 21-year-old, hey, go mop the staircase and all that. You know what I mean? So it's like the attitude differences are also there as well.
What makes me upset is like older people sometimes, like you said, you're able to put your ego in check, but older people sometimes feel like just because they're older, they're granted respect.
Mhm.
Like I see it in jiu-jitsu all the time where they're like, oh, this 32-year-old guy is telling me what to do. Or when I was a purple belt in my 20s and shit, oh, this purple belt's telling me how it should be. Like, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 40s. It should automatically defer to respect to me. Shut the fuck up, dude. Respect is not a thing that's just given to you. I don't care, dude. I don't care if you're 55, 60 years old. If it's your first day walking in here, I'm in charge. I'm in charge.
I know what
I
doing
know
here.
way more about this world than you do.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as if I came to you about fitness stuff. You know way more about this stuff than I do. Even though I'm older than you, I'm not going to be like, oh, because I'm older, I automatically get respect. No. You put your head down. Yes, sir. No, sir. Oh, okay. That's how it should be. And you be open to information. But you get these fucking cunt motherfuckers who come into like jiu-jitsu or the fitness world and they think just because they're older, oh, I know more. How many of those meathead guys cause problems with people at gyms because they're like, oh, I'm an old dude, I should just automatically get respect. Get the fuck out of here,
all I do is see them every time, without fail. I'll go see them, go straight to the dumbbell rack, go start curling, and they curl like this shit.
Yeah,
every
they
time.
do something completely
and I
wrong.
see that. And then
because their ego won't allow them to
it.
accept that a younger
How many
person
times
knows
do you
the
go work
information?
out and you see them peeping you through the mirror?
Yeah.
You see it. They'll do
That's
this
why
shit.
I hate mirrors in gyms. I wish they would.
I love it because I'll look right at them. I'll just sit there and like this, especially if I have a lighter weight, but I'm controlling it. I'm sitting here. I'm like, now let's count.
Yeah.
4 seconds up, 4 seconds up. Oh, but this is easy, right? And you sit them doing this, be like, yeah, I can go grab 60s too, bud, and just start flinging it with my shoulder, bro.
Weights,
and then they're going to be saying, well, my shoulders are killing me. Yeah, you worked your arms, but your shoulders hurt. That's wild, bro.
Bro, I think we like this whole like older people automatically get respect thing. Like, they need to stop. The internet, it's no longer passing down knowledge through wisdom.
And I think that's
the
also,
internet has opened up
that's
people
the
to
big
information.
issue. It's that older people came from a generation where they depended on the older people to give them that.
Mm-hmm.
When we're in a generation now where we have access to a lot, does that mean that like we were discussing right before recording, like we're in an age where there's so much information, it's hard to pick and choose what the right information is.
But I'd much rather have that.
You can't base it off of age. I've seen this thing. It's a reel that's been going around and I hate it so much. Now, there is some truth behind it where I see it. They're like, I'm unfollowing all fitness accounts that don't have kids, that aren't in their 30s to 40s, that are not married, and it's just some 20-year-old telling me what to do. I'm like, what if that 20-year-old is 25 years old, but he's been working out since 15 and has been studying fitness and has been in the gym for the past 10 years, right? Like that, like,
bro, this kid thing makes me so mad because last Saturday, you were here last Saturday for class? You were here.
Yeah.
When the boys were here.
Yeah.
You know, I went to the gym, the same routine I usually do. I went to the gym in the morning. I went to around the clock. You bring them there, they go in the little kid area. So don't tell me this thing of like, oh, wait till you have kids. It's not manageable. It's fucking manageable.
So what the whole entire, the real
here's your snacks. Here's your iPads. Oh, they were playing with other kids in there. I went, did my workout, cool picked them up, brought them here. They sat on the side. They came and trained while we all trained. And then we went home and all showered and went about our day. But this whole like, oh, wait till you have kids. You're not going to be able to go to the gym every day. You're not going to be able to. No, if you make it a routine and you make it a habit, you absolutely going to make it work.
What the reel is actually talking about is like they're unfollowing these people because they're saying that we're not accredited, like, because that's specifically targeting someone who's like me, where I don't have kids, I don't have the same type of 9-to-5 job,
that you're not credible,
that I'm not credible because apparently the programs I would make are not realistic. I'm like, no. That's because the people you are following.
What does having kids have to do with
it being
realistic?
And that's where I think people have this issue is like, you're unfollowing an account because like let's say for me, an example, because I don't have a child. But if I also, as a smart coach, ask you, hey, do you have kids? What's your job like?
They're not even related.
But they're saying it as the fact because since we're not relatable in that aspect, that I wouldn't understand. It's like, no,
understand
I don't.
What?
And
you're talking about apples and oranges here. You being able to physically do stuff in the gym is way different than whether or not you have a kid. I've seen people with no kids and people with kids do the same physical stuff and physicality.
And they're trying to say it as like, oh, I just won't get it. Schedule it. Like, bro, that's also what did I get on you the other day about communication with a coach, right? When you were like, oh, I haven't talked about it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. And this is why I tell people all the time, I'm like, bro, when people hire a coach, they think that they're just there.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, no. A coach is one as much as you use them.
Yeah.
Some people, you get a program and then you just run off on your own.
I just don't like to bother him a lot just because he lives on the other coast.
Yeah. It's a lot.
He's he is famous. He is like well known.
Yeah.
He's probably getting hit up a million times a day. So like with little shit, like, oh, my knees bother me, I don't like to hit him up because I feel like at this point in life with like working out, I know that if this is bothering me, hey, just don't do this. Like alter it and do this instead. So I don't like to like, hey, hit him up and bother him when he's going to tell me probably the same thing that I'm going to figure out. Like,
But like, that's where it's more so like the whole thing is like, again, as a coach, communication's key, right?
Yes.
It's just, and that's where a lot of people, again, they hire a coach and they think that's going to be the one, their fix all.
Yeah.
Like you, just because you paid me a monthly fee and I give you a programmer and we handle your nutrition, you think that's it? It's like, no, now we have check-ins.
Yeah.
Like, bro, the amount of people that will fall off within the first week. And it's just like, dude, I'm like, hey, I'll be like, hey, where's your check-in? I didn't have time. I'm like, your check-in's taking a picture and answering a few questions. It's like, what do you mean you don't have time? Like that takes 10, 15 minutes.
Bro, this whole like society of I don't have enough time. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
You're just say that you're not good at organizing time. Because that's what it comes down to.
You used to have to go to a library to find information. Now you could just find it out on a phone. It takes you a fraction of the time. They didn't have enough time back in the day. But you didn't have enough time back in the day to go to the library, take 10 books. You have to read all the books.
That's the shit. You can't do a search and find, bro.
Bro, it's just, it boggles my mind when people are like, there's not enough time. There's plenty of time in the day. When you watch 5 episodes of Netflix at night, guess what? There was time in the day.
You had time. And that's
when you get 8 hours of sleep, you could have got 6, you could have got 7, and you could have made a little bit of time and figured it out.
And that's there's plenty of time. It's a big issue. Days. And people, they want to.
I want to see your phone. If you say you don't have enough time in the day, I want to see your phone. And if I see Facebook app on there, Twitter, Instagram, if I see any social media app, I automatically know you at least devote 20 minutes to those apps. At least. That's
minutes,
time.
You can knock out a 20-minute EMOM and die.
Yeah.
Just saying. You can. EMOMs suck. If you've never done them, that means every minute on the minute.
Oh, yeah.
Go die. Because those
EMOM workouts are awesome. If you're looking to lose weight. And
especially in a short amount of time. You got 20 minutes a day.
EMOM stuff is
which means what? About 30 minutes a day? Because you want, like, give yourself 5-minute warm-up, 5-minute cool down. So about 30 minutes. Make it 45 minutes.
10-minute EMOMs could kick your ass.
Dude, yes.
10-minute EMOMs.
I did a 10-minute body weight EMOM as a warm up for my class, and they were like, "There's more," and I was like, "That was the warm up."
Yeah.
And they were like, "This sucked," and I was like, "Yeah, that was 10 minutes," and they were like, "Oh." But that was also a day. It was like a holiday coming up, so we were only doing like a half class. So it was like 10 minutes quick, and then 20 minutes of accessory, and then we moved on. But that's also coaching. Got to know how to work things,
guys. That was episode 81 of Fresh Off the Mats. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Find new hobbies.
Try new things.
We got a long life.
Don't be dicks to people.
You walking funny.
My body hurt.